Who do you think Dricus is going to fight next and when? And I didn't ask you who you want him to fight next. I'm asking you, who do you think? Like, as you stand back and you look at the landscape of the organization, let me back you up to to Strickland versus Adesanya in Australia. 6-1 underdog is Sean Strickland. And the only way that 6-1 spread is going to have a ruffle is if Sean Strickland can take Adesanya down, rinse and repeat over and over for the better part of the evening. Can we all agree? So we all thought. We did not at all believe, right, that 6-1 becomes 10-1 if we were informed that they were going to stand up and kickbox with each other all night. And maybe closer to 13 and 14-1 against Sean. Well, Sean wins. Sean gets his hand raised. And Dana White sees instantly, rematch. This was something special. This night was something really special. The way the audience here in Australia and worldwide took to Sean Strickland in the Crocodile Dundee act versus their local hero. This was something special. What's going to happen when we have time to build it? What's going to happen when we have an ability to rematch it? The history of Adesanya says, I can figure out. I can figure you out. Sometimes I need one. But I'll learn. I'll know what I didn't know. And you might beat me, but you won't do it twice. Okay, great. Like everything seems to be set. The one thing that came in as a surprise is Adesanya didn't want the rematch. Adesanya didn't even want to talk about the rematch. Adesanya didn't even want to talk. He went as far as to say, I'll be back in 2027. Which was tongue-in-cheek, but it was very clear. It was this very clear way of saying, I'm tired of discussing this. Give me a break. Then Izzy, on a personal note, got very enveloped in Francis Ngannou, Francis's pending match at that time with Tyson Fury. And Izzy just really did not want to fight, and he was serious about it. So the UFC, after spending a period of time and realizing, man, this guy's not kidding, they moved on with the division. And that's where you saw DDP get inserted. Now, DDP beating Strickland, I can tell you, I can confirm for you, DDP has been offered Izzy at 300. Izzy has been offered DDP at 300. I can personally tell you that happened. I cannot tell you which side, if either side, or potentially both sides said no. I don't have that piece of the story. But I can also come and tell you when I speak to you guys, when I have ran polls, I can personally tell you when Brett Okamoto, representing ESPN, personally did a poll. And it brings up who would you, the audience, like to see next for Dricus. And it's between Izzy and it's between Strickland. Surprisingly, but unanimously, it's Strickland. So the UFC, I want to rework this again. The UFC, I can confirm for you, has offered Izzy to Dricus and Dricus to Izzy for 300, specifically that night. You got to understand, if both guys say yes, but we want to fight in May, the deal's off because there never was a deal for May. The deal and the offer comes for the specific night. The UFC worked very quickly, as they have to do. My guess is that they had their thumb off the pulse. I don't think anybody imagined, because I know that I didn't, that there would be so much controversy around Strickland du Plessis Part 1 that rematching those two would be more important to you, the MMA universe, than getting this ultimate grudge, the ultimate feud of Izzy and du Plessis together. So, I'm not asking you what you want more. I know what you want more. I did a poll on it, for goodness sakes. I read Brett Okamoto's poll on it, for goodness sakes. I know that you want Strickland, and I'm asking you, what do you think's going to happen? Izzy's been pretty clear to tell us, I'm coming back. Forget everything I said about the year 2027. I am coming back. But he's also been very clear to tell us he's going to start training at the beginning of March, which is still another couple of days. And that's just not enough time for anybody to get into title fight shape. And if Izzy were kidding, just by example, he would have already started doing what Izzy does so well. He would have already started taking little twists and little shots at DDP. That fight's not done. It's close and it's been offered, but it's not done. And then if you're the UFC and you've already got those offers out, you're going to honor them. But you yourself are starting to wonder, how bad do I need that to come back with a yes? Because the audience is looking in a different direction. So I'm just asking you, when you think they're going to fight, does it possibly have nothing to do with 300? If we're not in a race for 300, we're having a totally different conversation. 300 is going to come and it's going to go, but 301 still needs a main event, and 302 and 303. I mean, just for example. So I want to know, who do you think is next for Dricus du Plessis? You might have an answer aside from the obvious. You might have an answer that doesn't have anything to do with Izzy or Strickland. You might have an answer that has to do with the victor of Paulo Costa versus Robert Whittaker. I'm not against you. But I'm asking you, not for what you want, for what you predict. Understanding the organization. Understanding when promises are put out there, an answer has to come back before that promise or offer goes to somebody else. Who do you think they're going to go with? When do you think they're going to go with them? Dricus du Plessis versus... And what do you suspect the date will be?